Hello and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Koop'd podcast. The podcast that is stayed up way too late watching a horror movie and now is having terrible nightmares for like days. Terrible thing. But as always, folks, my name is Koopa, and each week I bring you guys, with a guest and sometimes not. We talk about all things pop culture and fun and everything in between. And you guys are going to be getting this episode on Halloween. Happen to just time this up perfectly. So I hope you guys are having a enjoyable and fun Halloween if you choose to celebrate it, I guess. And I had to brought on, probably one of the spookiest people I know. He's the host of the Howling Hour podcast. Everyone, please welcome my friend Chris, aka Pilgrim. Chris, what's going on, buddy?
Hey,
How you
what's
doing?
up? Doing pretty good, actually. Just got off from recording my own episode that's dropping tomorrow. But yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, listen, when thinking about topical things to do, there's a short list of people who I thought of, who would make great guests for an episode, and your name very quickly came up. As you do host a horror movie podcast, which is awesome. I was a guest on that podcast a few weeks ago.
It was really only a couple weeks back. Everyone should go
Great, funny
check out that episode.
Yeah, I'll definitely post it in all that and the link below because I talked about this on the last episode I just did with Little T Fox where he talked about season 3 of You. But horror is awesome, and I think the best part about hosting a horror movie podcast is that you always have a Halloween episode to go on.
Yeah, it's it's rare, for a horror podcast to run out of spooky content. Especially in the Halloween season, because there's so many movies that even take place specifically on Halloween, like the Halloween franchise and stuff like that. Like if you could go, like Jaws isn't a Halloween movie, but we put it in October anyway on my show with you.
Why not? Jaws is as much a Halloween movie as Die Hard is a Christmas movie. It could be a Halloween movie if I want it to be. So, but no, listen, I'm very happy. I had a lot of fun on that podcast. I very much enjoy your podcast. I love horror as a genre. It's one of my favorite genres of film. I have enjoyed every episode that I've listened to just because, I didn't realize it. I don't listen to a lot of horror movie podcasts. I'm just like, I should do more of this. I'm just such a huge fan of the genre. So
yeah, there's a lot out there. People churning out content like animals. Because it's a deep cult. Once you're in, you're in.
Yeah, no, for sure. As most people who I know who come on this show, we know each other, via the Super Smash Brothers community. You living in New England, I live in New Jersey. We've crossed paths a handful of times and whatnot. But yeah, so as someone who's also an adult with a full-time job, and when you still go to tournaments, not only is it like do you feel like doubly accomplished as like not only did you lose to an adult who works full-time, but you also lost to a podcast host?
Oh yeah, it's so funny at this point in my life. I have like so many other things that I juggle now, because back in college I really just had a part-time job in school and that was kind of it. And now like doing working and running the podcast, and also trying to maintain just like a regular adult social life with my friends, on top of still trying to competing. When I beat someone that I know is good and I know they're going to be upset for losing to me, I'm just like, yes. And I don't even work that hard at this game anymore.
It's so funny. Don't get it twisted, folks. Don't forget that a podcast host won Summit. So I mean,
true.
These the age of the content creator is coming up. But yeah, listen, I'm super excited to have you on today. This is an idea that I've been sitting on to doing for the holidays, just because it's easy content and it's fun to talk about. I brought you on today because we're going to be ranking our top 5 favorite Halloween specials. So Chris, obviously as a big horror movie guy, did you struggle like putting a list together? Once we kind of put the parameters together of what we were going to be picking
Absolutely.
tonight?
My head hit a wall. I had to give myself restrictions, so I only did kids like animation. I did not really wander. I did not wander
smart.
outside of that. I just could not even begin to try and parse that field. So I just did some of my favorite animated bits from my childhood, and nothing like big, no like big AAA like movies either. We're not doing like I'm not thinking like something like Paranorman, which is an actual like a full blown movie or something like that. I had to
no Hotel Transylvania's here. At least I don't think so. So, but no, yeah. So this is definitely a fun one because I definitely wanted to like chew on this one a little bit too, because I was like, it would be like a little too easy to do like, top 5 horror movies because that's like pretty basic stuff.
I think I'd still struggle putting a list together for that.
I would also struggle with that too. It'd be really, really hard for me to pick 5 that I just like really enjoy. Like we'd be here literally all night, but I was able to put together a list of 5, and I kind of went the same route you did, where I picked about. I tried to stay within the realm of if it was made for a television audience, I have no qualms taking it. Some of it's animated. I do have a couple of live action things thrown in the mix here that I personally really enjoyed. But the majority of it, actually, my top 3 are all from cartoons. But we shall get there. But I figured I'll say this up top. When I did the last top 5 I did, we did honorable mentions at the top. I think I'm going to save these for the end, the honorable mentions, because there was a couple that I like kind of struggled with and it was one of those things where like I don't want to like take the air out of somebody's list.
Preemptively,
like, knocking out one of preemptively just like dunking on their pick by saying it wasn't good enough to be on my list. But yeah, so again, there might be some overlap here. We'll see what happens here, but we're gonna get into it here. So as the guest, Chris, I will allow you to go first. So we're gonna go from 5 to 1. So what is your in the top 5 Halloween specials rankings, what was your number 5?
Coming in at number 5 is Arnold's Halloween from Hey Arnold.
This is such a good one. I thought about picking this one because this is fun.
Yeah, it's like a nice little like war. It's like almost like War of the Worlds kind of situation where Arnold and Gerald they aren't allowed to do like the big adult Halloween stuff with Grandpa and all the boarders. So they decide that they're going to prank him. They're going to scare him. And so they do this whole like little radio broadcast about aliens like coming into the city. Meanwhile, Helga is, trying to get attention from her dad, and he's busy watching this UFO TV show. It's called like UFO Tonight. And he's not paying attention to her. So she decides she wants to do get the whole class of what's the name of the school? It's like PS 118. There you go. Get the whole class to dress up as aliens. So at night, Arnold and Gerald are doing their thing. The signal gets picked up by the UFO Tonight people, who then start reporting it as real. All hell breaks loose. People are running amok. Eventually, like all the kids end up at like the water tower, and like they can't get their paint off their faces, and someone like hits the water tower, and the water washes off all the makeup, and they realize what has happened, and it all resolves nicely. But there's just so much really good there's so many. It's such a nice inspiration. It's pretty I love like homages that are done well to War of the Worlds radio broadcast where people take fiction as truth and then act upon it. Crazy stuff.
Yes. Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely thought about taking this one because this is one that stuck with me a lot as a kid.
Yeah.
I just remember the scene of Big Bob like like grabbing Helga. He was like, "I almost killed my own daughter." I'm a
Literally,
monster.
yes. He's like strangling her or something, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like as a kid, I was just like, "Oh, that's funny."
Intense.
But as an adult, I'm like, "Oof." Yeah,
it's like everything. Like,
stuff. Yeah, I just remember
as a kid, you understand that Helga like isn't really given a whole lot of attention, and then you realize that she's just like outright like emotionally neglected, and like how bad it really was for her at home.
Yeah, no, it was rough. I've talked actually a lot about Harold on this show because it seems to to cross over a lot. But
it was one of the best.
That show was great, man. Yeah, 100%. It's absolutely fantastic. But and that's a great starting choice. We're starting off hot, and I will keep the flame ablazing with my number 5 pick. Now I went again in the same vein. We're going. I'm going to take you guys back to the late 90s. It's the best time of the year for cartoons. I have decided to pick the DCOM classic Halloween Town as one of my favorite Halloween specials.
Did that on my podcast last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I haven't got a chance to listen to that episode yet because I wanted to rewatch the movie because this is a movie I used to watch a lot of when I was growing up. I was like it was weird. My hyperfixations like really shifted into Disney hard when I was in like the 5th through like the 7th grade. So like I was like prime audience for like the DCOM stuff, and I watched a lot of them. I would love to do. I have a podcast idea where I'm gonna rank like my top 5 favorite DCOMs at some point. So big thanks to Disney Plus for having all these.
Honestly,
so
available.
But
I live with my sister. And
Halloween Town is always.
She listens. I won't listen. She watches those frequently throughout like the Halloween season. I've listened to her watch like Phantom at the Megaplex. My mom's dating a vampire.
Twitches.
Twitches is so good.
Yeah, still underrated. I almost picked it, but I was like, yeah, it does. And I almost picked it, but Halloween Town for me is like, I watched it every Halloween with like my neighbors and my cousins like growing up. It's like so classic. The great Debbie Reynolds.
For real though, she's just having a lot of fun in that movie, and it shows, and it makes the movie better for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like, granted the franchise definitely goes places.
Well, the sequel is great. I like the sequel better than the original.
Return to Halloween Town's very good.
Yes.
Or Calabar's Revenge.
That's what it is, yeah. Yeah, the last movie.
No, that one was fun. Yeah, we don't talk about that
Fake
one.
Marnie.
Yeah, right? That was the part that like blew my mind because I watched this movie like the other day with my girlfriend because she just recently watched it, and I was like, she was just like, do you remember when they like replaced Marnie in like the last one and we're just like supposed to like just forget
just
about
don't think
that?
about
and
it.
I was like, yeah, I do remember that. And as a kid, I was probably like, yeah, whatever.
Did you know
that's fine.
The actress that plays Marnie. In Calabar's Revenge, Calabar's son, whose name I can't remember right now. So they reconnected years later, and they're married now.
No way! That's crazy.
That was a bit of trivia from my show. It stuck with me because she's on TikTok, and so that was like
really?
It was like a TikTok trend of like, how did you and your significant other meet? It's like, well, actually,
I've learned. Yeah, actually, we were child stars. I've learned that the Disney Channel star, like child star to TikTok and like content creator pipeline, is actually like pretty broad because Christy Carlson Romano's like a huge YouTuber. Yeah, like I watched like she did a series where she like does cooking, like in her kitchen with like other like child stars.
That's
she does
cool.
an episode. She makes like she makes a naco with like Will Friedle. Devin Werkheiser, like from Ned's Classified, is on an episode with her. It's really cool stuff, and she like talks about what it's like being a child star, and why her and Shia LaBeouf like don't talk to each other like ever. It's really interesting stuff. But yeah, no, Halloween Town's awesome. Like that first movie, it's got all the like the right stuff you look for.
The thing is, it came out at like such a time for us. I mean, I'm 28, and
Yeah, we're about the same age. I'm
Yeah.
27.
So like it came out right at that age where like that was the idealized Halloween. Because like for kids like kids younger than us, like I mean even maybe like 5 or 6 years younger than us, like I can only imagine Halloween was much different growing up then than it was even for us. Because like the growth of like the stranger danger narratives, the people not wanting to, or people just not participating in the season so much. You'd have to drive. Some people would have to drive to neighborhoods more and more frequently
Yeah.
to the houses that were actually going to be giving
Yeah.
out candy. And like that was the Halloween I remember from when I was like 5 years old. Whole neighborhood lit up. Tacky yet charming, decorations everywhere, and kids just running amok.
Yeah, no, I agree. It really brought back like some great memories of my childhood. I had a lot of, I actually lived in like a pretty like weird area for trick or treaters because I lived on a dead end street in the middle of nowhere, so I never got trick or treaters. So I always like enjoyed like like you said, like getting in a car, going to like a neighborhood with like a lot of candy and houses, and it was so much fun. I'm sure we'll share some stories about trick or treating as we get further into this, but yeah, Halloween Town's dope. It still holds up very well. And watch the movie and then listen to Chris's podcast episode about it because I'm good. That's exactly what I'm going to do.
I do it with my friends Aaron and Tati, and Tati is like a diehard, like loves Halloween Town, and then Aaron and I were kind of like the dissenters in it because we were like, all right, let's pump the brakes. But it's like it's so funny because you watch it back and it has like some flaws to it, but in the end, you still just like, I know why I love this movie, and either you still do or maybe you don't so much, but it's worth the rewatch.
Yeah, 100%. So that brings us that takes care of our number fives. Chris, why don't you bring us to number four?
Coming in at number 4 is Scary Godmother, Halloween Spooktacular.
Ooh, this one's on my list, but I'm not going to tell you guys where it is.
So this came out in 2003. So once again, I was 10 when this came out. I remember because around that time, I was really from like ages like 8 and 9 and up. I really started getting into Cartoon Network and watching a lot of Cartoon Network stuff. And I remember there's another movie on this list actually that I watched for the first time via Cartoon Network. But it was just so unique. It has a very unique animation quality to it. It's like they're 3D, like very distinctive 3D models, and it's really just about this little girl who's out on Halloween with their cousin who's a jerk, and her scary godmother is there to make things better.
Yeah, no, this movie made such like a deep impact on me as a kid.
Me and my sister loved this one.
Yeah, this is definitely a favorite in my house growing up. Based off of a children's book, also that I learned. While researching,
it's so weird. Podcast, like I never even saw. Like growing up in the '90s, I never even saw any of those books.
Yeah, no, it was weird stuff, but no, this movie just made like such like a profound impact on me. Like you said, the distinct art style is is one thing that stood out to me. I love everybody's like really like small eyes and like bad costumes. Like it's so much funny. I love like the characters. I love Harry the werewolf and his like Hawaiian shirt. Like I'm sure that was like the pipeline for like a couple of my furry friends, and I hope not. But I loved Mr. Scully Pettibone. Like all like the character names are like so silly. And this movie was just like such a romp. It's such a good time. I have like so many nostalgic memories for it, and it's somewhere on my list. I'm not going to tell you guys where, but it is somewhere on my list. So kudos. This is such a great choice.
Right now, actually, as well, last year, the people who made this, they are working on a television series.
Really, I did not know that.
Yeah, so that was October of last year. So far, no new news. But who knows? Maybe in the future. There was the sequel as well, and they would
Jimmy's Revenge.
They were paired back to back all the time on Halloween, so that was always fun to watch. With either in the season, whenever they were going to air it.
Yeah, I like have like the same like vague. I have like less memories of like the sequel just because I think I just like the original like that much more. But still, like both these movies hold up so well. They're so much fun. I'm a huge fan. I miss like those like off color like animation studios like making these weird like holiday specials. Like now they're just like YouTube poop like content.
Yes, absolutely. I love stuff like people who. It's even today. It's still really refreshing when like an animation studio comes out with something that's different from what Disney is doing, and it's they're usually pretty good. Usually, if they don't end up becoming instant hits, they're usually like cult classics.
Yeah, for sure. So that's a great choice for number 4, and wherever it will be on my list. My number 4 again. I delve back into the realm of live action. And I think this stuck with me because I just recently like finished a binge of a certain series, and there is a certain theme of episodes that happen in the show that really stuck with me, and I really dug it. I am picking the first Halloween heist episode from Brooklyn Nine-Nine for my number 4.
Yeah. I don't know how many times I've been like held at gunpoint and told to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's got to be over 10 at this point, and I still need to get to it. But because like a lot of like those shows, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Parks and Rec, The Office, there's always they always have really good holiday themed episodes. So I can only imagine this one's really good to make it onto your list.
Yeah, like it's so good, and I was in the same boat. Brooklyn Nine-Nine was a show that circled me and like for years before I finally got around to watching it. I literally just I binge watched the series, over the summer with my girlfriend because she was like, this is like, my girlfriend loves sitcoms, it's a, and I love sitcoms too. It's a great comfort show for me to like sit down and watch. I can just like turn my brain off and like watch a sitcom, but also get like deeply invested into it. So, and a bunch of my like friends, all talked about how much they love this show. I love Andy Samberg. I love The Lonely Island. So it has all of my favorite things in it. And again, I love Michael Schur as like, Michael Schur's show ran, shows, I love Parks and Rec. I love The Office. I haven't gotten around to watching The Good Place yet. I've watched one episode, but I keep hearing The Good Place is very, very good.
I can vouch for that.
Intended. Okay, good to know. I'll get to it. I'm getting to it eventually, but yeah, like you said, the shows with that are ran by like Michael Schur and show ran by Michael Schur always have great holiday episodes. This is an editor's note for me to rewatch the Halloween episodes of Community. That's not a Michael Schur show, but still, those NBC shows always had like great holiday episodes.
Yeah, oh my God, 30 Rock.
Yeah, that's I haven't watched all of 30 Rock, but I have seen like a couple of the Halloween episodes.
That's another great show.
Yeah, but basically like the gist of if you're familiar with like the paintball episodes in Community, the Halloween episodes in Brooklyn Nine-Nine kind of follow the same formula where there is one every season. And each time like increasing in ridiculousness. I've just picked the first one because it's just so simple and funny. Basically, the main characters of Jake and Amy, played by Melissa Fumero and Andy Samberg, they end up getting into a Halloween heist where they try to steal the Medal of Valor from Captain Holt. And they each like split up into teams and like they get into shenanigans of like how to, steal the medal, and whoever has it by midnight, they has to declare the other person the greatest detective / genius. And it's so funny.
It sounds very lighthearted and fun.
Yeah. It's so stupid. I absolutely love it. And every time they get around to a heist episode, it literally makes me like laugh so hard. As someone that like loved like the paintball episodes in Community, it's what literally got the Russo brothers, the Marvel jobs. This absolutely crushes it out of the park. It's so fucking funny. And if you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That's all I'm going to say. It's great. And it's finished now. So, I mean...
That is true. Yeah, it just wrapped up.
There you go. It did. I did. I actually just recorded a podcast episode about that too. So that was a fun time and a romp. And these episodes are dope. So I love like stupid. I just love like stupid like turn your brain off like episodes like this. So this was a lot of fun.
All right.
But as we move on down the old list here, we've now approached to number 3. Chris, what's number 3 on your list?
Number 3 on my list is 1993's The Halloween Tree.
Oh,
so this is
okay.
This was produced by Cartoon Network. It is an adaptation of the Ray Bradbury novel.
Yeah, that's right. I'm like, I completely forgot this existed.
It's even narrated by Ray Bradbury. Ray Bradbury, one of my favorite authors. He's an incredible short storyteller. He wrote obviously The Halloween Tree, which is kind of a short novel. Then he wrote Something Wicked This Way Comes, which is probably my favorite piece of like Halloween season writing ever. Incredibly full of magic and depth and warmth and emotion that, as a kid, you don't always come by in Halloween stories. I remember I watched The Halloween Tree. The first time I saw it like I must have had like a fever or something. I was like a kid. I remember like just laying on the couch in like the first house my family owned. So I must have been like no older than 7. And just watching this on Cartoon Network and just like, I was scared of it. Like I was like watching it back, in years since, not scary. But as a kid, like I was just like so scared. And it's really just about these friends who, they always dress up and get together for Halloween, and it's a big fun thing. But one of their friends doesn't show up, and he actually, had to go to the hospital for an emergency appendectomy. Yeah, and so like then like his life or his soul is like hanging in the balance, and the kids end up going on like some adventure through like the history of Halloween, or different interpretations of Halloween, and like the afterlife and stuff like that. And eventually, they all offer up. I think it ends. They all offer up a piece of like their own souls or their own lives, to like their guide basically on this mission, Monshroud. And in doing so, it like revives their friend, because otherwise their friend Pip wasn't going to make it. And so all these kids, like they make this great sacrifice just to save their friend. And it's just like, it's so full of just Halloween iconography, and just whimsy and magic and heart. And I really like this one. I haven't really met anyone else that has ever seen it, I don't think. But I love this one.
Yeah, this is one that I think I remember seeing this VHS in like a doctor's office once when I was a kid. But I remember like maybe catching like a bit of this when it was on TV as like a kid. I never really watched it because I was like a weird kid where I like didn't if it like the animation looked weird, I didn't like really like go out of my comfort zone, and yet here I am watching Scary Godmother. So lo and behold, I'm a hypocrite. But no, I remember like catching this like a little bit later in my adult years. I'm just like, oh yeah, this is like really cool, and it's like animated by like Hanna-Barbera, which is like really really awesome. So yeah, this is such a great like out of like the box pick because. Like you said, like I haven't met like many people who've like watched this, and let alone know what it is. Even looking through the Wikipedia page, Leonard Nimoy is it a voice?
Yeah, he's Monshroud.
Just like, yeah, like that's so sick. Like that's like the amazing the sort of like star power you can attract on these sort of things is like truly interesting.
Yeah. The fact that
this is a great out of the box pick.
Yeah, and the fact that Ray Bradbury voiced this. I mean, Ray passed away. This was 90. This actually was made 2 weeks after I was born. It was released 2 weeks after I was born. And this was, Ray Bradbury. He was 80. He was 80 years old, I think. Or no, I think he was in his He was in his 70s, so he was getting up there.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, this is such a great pick. I'm a fan. Put them in the Warner Brothers fighting game. How about that?
Yeah, put Montreal in as the as a character. It'd be sick.
That would be pretty sick. All right, so my number 3 pick. We are gone. Gone is the live action. We're not getting into the good shit. This is one of my favorites. I wanted to like this this special stuck with me for a long time because it had a great flash game on the internet. My number 3 pick is Billy and Mandy's Jacked Up Halloween.
Let's go. It's so good.
It is so fucking funny. The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy is a phenomenal cartoon.
One of my favorites.
It's so good. Watching it as an adult, you get to, it has that effect where, you really get to understand what everybody got away with here. Wayne Knight voices Jack-O-Lantern, which is absolutely fucking fantastic. The jokes of the episode are so funny. And it had a great flash game on Cartoon Network. I had vivid memories just wasting hours of my life on CartoonNetwork.com playing the flash game for this game.
So funny. I literally
lives rent free.
When I put right earlier before we started recording, I posted. I was talking with my buddy Colby about the Kids Next Door flash game. Operation Trick or Treat, because we were talking about UNICEF. And how, back then you would play these Halloween games and it was all like fundraisers for UNICEF. And that was the Billy and Mandy one was the other one I played a bunch.
Yeah, like that one was a fun one in my head. All the Kids Next Door flash games are great now that I think about it. Those are all a lot of fun. But yeah, there's obviously the plot for this is that, Grim, Billy, and Mandy go out trick-or-treating. Billy accidentally ends up at the house of the practical jokester Jack-O-Lantern, who got his head cut off because he was framed for pranking the Queen of England, or something. The scythe for the Grim Reaper gets taken by Jack-O-Lantern. All hell breaks loose, and shenanigans ensue. And there's such great jokes in here. I think Mandy dressing up as Hamlet is so funny. It gets me every time. Erwin going through the costume gag where you're like constantly changing his costume.
Oh, I love that.
I love that. It's so funny. It's so funny. And you get like a really like deeper look into Erwin's obsession with Mandy, which like rivals Helga's obsession with Arnold. It's a little weird, but I absolutely dig it. It is so funny. Just like it's so much fun. Again, Wayne Knight in anything is just gonna be great television. I'm sure it's definitely sparked a lot of Grim Reapers dressing up for Halloween. I could have picked the entirety of the show honestly as like a Halloween love letter, because I just love this show so much. It was so hard to but for me it was an obvious choice. This episode is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, this one was right outside of my my scopes when I was picking these. This was in my top 10. I just didn't quite crack the top 5. But yeah, this one this is when I think about like iconic episodes that like I could probably still laugh at today. That's one of them.
Oh yeah, that in regards to like 21st century like Halloween specials, like this definitely is going to be on someone's BuzzFeed list. I'm sure at some point. And again, it just like I just love the costumes. It's so funny. What was your favorite? Do you have a favorite Halloween costume as a kid? Like one that like sticks out with you that
I did? Oh god.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I was in kindergarten. I was Hercules. That was a pretty good one.
Nice.
I don't remember first grade. Second grade, I was Goku.
Wait, I think I was also Goku.
That was a big regret. The costume wasn't that good. I remember looking like a big fucking idiot.
Same, actually.
Yeah, honestly, I'd have to. Oh, one year I was Buzz Lightyear. 1 year.
I was Buzz Lightyear when I was in kinder. I think I was 4 when I was.
Yeah,
Buzz Lightyear.
I think I might have been the same age because that might have been the year that Toy Story came out. That tracks.
That makes
after
sense.
it had come out. Yeah. I I guess I'm gonna go. Um, I'm gonna go Hercules. I really liked because I did a nice in my mind. There's a really nice picture of me and like my best friend in kindergarten. He was Charmander and I was Hercules. And we were like out in front of the school, and like that just sticks out. That was really simpler times. Hercules to this day my favorite Disney movie, by the way.
Ooh, good choice. I'm a fan. I have I think mine has to be, oh my god, what was it? So I was also in kindergarten, and for some reason I just like cried a lot when I was in kindergarten, like, you know, as a 5-year-old does. And when I was in the 5th grade, I dressed up as the Cat in the Hat. So like I had like the tail and the bow tie, and like I stuffed like the hat with like toilet paper so it would stand up straight. And I'm just like crying my eyes out for some reason. So my mom has a great picture of me like in like the Halloween parade that we did, and she's just like, it's a picture of me just like miserable, and she's like, why are you crying? I'm just like, I don't know, like I'm 5, like things are hard, you know. Like, it's so funny. I think another like fun like trick or treating memory I have was I went trick or treating with one of my neighbors, and it was around the time of it was around the time that like Star Wars was, you know, like the
prequel trilogy was out.
Yeah, it was coming out. So like there was a kid that was dressed up as like I think he was dressed up as like Obi-Wan, like with like the, you know, the cape, and he's like walking through like the desert with like a stick.
Sure.
And my neighbor knows nothing about Star Wars, goes up to the kid when we're like waiting at like the door, because, you know, you make small talk with the other kids who are trick-or-treating. And my friend looks at this guy and he's just like, you must be Moses. And I'm just like, oh, brother.
Uh-oh.
Yikes. You're close, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like
Moses was a Force user.
when you're lacking like iconography that would definitely point you to being a certain character, like, yeah, I could see that being up for like insert biblical character here, but it's still funny.
Yeah, the only reason the Red Sea parted was because of all the midichlorians.
Yeah, you use the Force,
obviously. Oh man, I love it. All right, so that's my number 3, and I'm actually going to spoil my number 2 because this is where I pick Scary Godmother.
That's fair.
I'll go right ahead. Yeah, again, I just have so many nostalgic memories with it. Like it really resonated with me, you know, growing up.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, there's not much more to say about that. So I'll let you go into your number 2 here.
So my number 2 is a little different. It's not a special per se. This was a direct-to-video film produced in 2000, but it is from, you know, a beloved franchise that they were just making a couple Halloween movies for. So coming in at number 2 is Alvin and the Chipmunks Meet the Wolfman.
Oh man, this is such a good one.
Yeah, so this one is super fun, but it only has like 2 or 3 songs in it, which is I think what made it good for me, because like even when I was a kid, I wasn't crazy about Alvin and the Chipmunks like musically. I just thought they were fun cartoon adventures, and I liked the character dynamics, and I thought it was funny. And so this is just one of those, again, just like dripping in references to old werewolf films, like the original, you know, Wolfman. A whole bunch of good lore. Theodore as like a little where monk is very cute, very funny. It's just overall really fun film.
This is a great choice. I remember they made a couple of these. Didn't they make one with Frankenstein
yes,
also?
That was the other. That was the other one that they did.
Yeah, this is so much fun. I remember like watching these a lot on cable because again, like all these would like be coming on at the same time, no matter what network you watched, and it was so much fun. Again, I also remember it not being like super musical, but it was just awesome. I watched a little bit too much of the Chipmunks growing up, I think. I actually have the original Chipmunks Christmas CD that I listen to every year on Christmas Eve.
Funny
with my family.
So my mother, like, we still have like this massive record player from like the 70s. It's literally in my spare room right now. And with it
nice.
came a bunch of like the vinyl that my mother listened to. One of those is the Chipmunks Christmas record on vinyl. It's ridiculous.
That is sick. Oh my god.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of random Christmas records in that collection.
Yeah, like every year on Christmas Eve, I make sure my parents and I listen to that CD at least once. Like now we have like grandkids, so like the grandkids thinks it's funny.
Oh,
and, like,
here we go.
Even when
keep the cycle.
There we go. So, oh yeah, so like even when my mom, like even when we didn't, even when we didn't have grandkids in the house, I still made my mom listen to it, and she got very sick of me very fast. So we have since retired. We retired her for a little bit and replaced with Michael Bublé, but now they both live in harmony.
Nice.
In my
perfectly balanced as all things should.
Yeah, absolutely. But also and again, like my favorite part about these like older Chipmunks movies is just like listening to like some of like my favorite voice actors of like, the era, Tress MacNeille, Maurice LaMarche, Rob Paulsen, like all of your favorites in one place. And it still hits, it's still so much fun. This is one I haven't gone back to watch in a while. I might try to like bootleg this somehow to watch it because
I haven't seen this in a long time. This in my number one. I don't think my number one on this list. I don't think I've seen it for maybe close to 10 years. It might be.
Really?
It might be
okay.
time.
So it might be time. So I think I will. Okay. I'll let you go first as the guest. I'll let you go twice in a row, and we're getting to it. The number one of all Halloween. This is for all Halloween, Chris. So what is your number one Halloween special?
The number one was just a no-brainer. I haven't seen it in ages. I probably only really watched it maybe 5 times, like max, in my life. But it stands as one of the greatest holiday episodes in animated history. It's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Yeah, it had to be. It had to be that one. Honestly, I struggled very hard to not put this on my list. It was really hard for me to keep it off. God, it's just so good though.
It is so, and it's. I just love everything about Linus and the Great Pumpkin, and as growing up, it really wasn't until of recent years that I understood that it's also incredibly similar to the play Waiting for Godot.
Oh wow, I didn't even think
because
like
it's just this kid's out in a pumpkin patch and people are coming up to him and they're like, "What are you waiting for? Why are you here? Why are you waiting?" And it's just the conversations that he has with these people, which like Waiting for Godot. It's just these 2 guys waiting for Godot, and they're talking, and people are coming up to them, and they're just having conversations. And it's just so. So this came out in 1966. Like this movie's older than my mom. Jesus, for this special, I should say. And it has that sequence of Snoopy as the Red Baron. It's one of the most memorable Red Baron sequences I think that's out there ever for the Peanuts. It's just full of everything I love about the Peanuts. It's just the unrelenting optimism and faith and good-hearted spirit.
Yeah, no, I agree 110%. Like it's so funny. Like it's so nostalgic. And again, this is one that I watched a lot as a kid. It would always be on like ABC, and my mom would always make me watch it with my grandmother. And now again, I have nephews, and I get to experience this with them. They get to experience Charlie Brown having trouble with the scissors.
Yeah, because all the holes, and all he gets is funny. Rocks. What'd you get? I got rocks.
It's so iconic. It's so good. It's absolutely hilarious. Like, and as an adult, like, Charlie Brown cutting too many holes in the sheet has become like a great last second Halloween costume because everybody's gonna get it, and it's so funny. And like you said, the Red Baron sequence in this special is so good. I relate so hard to Linus, like, seeing the thing that he yearns for so hard, he just passes out.
Yep.
It's so funny. I hold this one so close to my heart, as a kid. And again, it pained me not to put it on here. But them's it definitely made it. If it was a top 6, if I wanted to cheat, I would have made it a top 6. But yeah, this is a great one in the pantheon of holiday specials. Peanuts reign supreme.
Yeah, they have a good one for more or less all the holidays. Some are misses, but overall they're all very, very good. This one, the New Year's one, and Thanksgiving are my favorites.
Alrighty, so my number one, I might be cheating a little bit, but it's my own podcast and I can do what I want. But this is a feature that a lot of people and like around me swear by, and I only watched it for the first time ever last year. It's an instant classic. It's on all the time in my house now around the holiday times. And again, I'm cheating a little bit, but you'll understand why in a second. It's A Nightmare Before Christmas.
The second you started going into the preamble, I was in my mind. I'm like, Nightmare Before Christmas for sure.
Yeah. So it's and this is me calling my shot now. I'm also gonna, when I do my top 5 Christmas movies, I'm also gonna draft this. So check back here. Just know that I called this beforehand, so you can't call me a hypocrite. No, listen. This is something, again, it like hovered around like my group of friends, the people I hung out with, like the merchandise, the things that I like. It was the world in Kingdom Hearts. It was that big. Like, it's crazy.
Twice.
So yes, twice. But yeah, it's something that like kind of like just like escaped me for some reason growing up. Like, I never went out of my way to watch it. And then my girlfriend caught wind last year that I'd never seen it before, and she literally stopped what we were doing, and she's like, "We're watching this right now," and I'm not taking no as an answer. So I'm like, okay, and we did, and I loved it. I get it. If you want to call it a Christmas movie, sure. You want to call it a Halloween movie, sure. I watch it more so around Halloween because it's it's got skeletons and it's spooky and stuff, but it's so good. It truly is one of the instant classics. Again, I'm cheating because I'm picking from the Big Mouse, but it's absolutely fantastic. And the voice cast obviously features a lot of greats. Catherine O'Hara, I actually didn't realize. I was also watching Schitt's Creek at the time. Didn't realize she played Sally. Super dope. The relationship between Jack and Sally is sweet. The music is great. The animation still holds up really well, and like it's truly like a perfect get in the mood for Halloween type movie.
Yeah, this is I'd say so. I like a lot of Tim Burton films, but I'd say this is his magnum opus. Like, nothing. I don't think Eddie's ever done better than this movie. It is the culmination of it. It is Halloween distilled into perfection. Like I said, the music in this is just iconic. The Mr. Oogie Boogie song is so good.
Oh yeah.
There's just, once again, like so much like heart in this movie. You could tell like everyone just worked on it so insanely hard, and it's like this entire world that they've created is so interesting and magical. And it's everything you could have wanted in a holiday movie. And yeah, I'm so happy that I got to experience this in Kingdom Hearts 1 and in Kingdom Hearts 2. I swear to God, in Kingdom Hearts 2, this is where I would grind to level 99 because it had a couple perfect like areas where you just ran back and forth and grinded. And I'm just sitting here just listening to the for hours and hours and hours, and it never got old.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an earworm for sure. Yeah, and I honestly, it's so good. And again, as an adult, I was able to like still feel these like great things from watching it. Like, I'm truly doing like a like childhood renaissance like with my life right now. Like I'm going back and watching a lot of things that like escaped me when I was younger. Like I just tweeted last night that like, you know, and you saw this, that I just watched How to Train Your Dragon for the first time. So like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm truly making the rounds of like making myself cry, you know, for reasons that I don't need to. But this is so good. I absolutely loved it. And yeah, listen, again, I'm calling my shot. I'm going to draft this around Christmas time too. So, you know, it's my own show. I can do whatever the fuck I want. But let's talk some honorable mentions, because I actually have a few that I struggled with here. What were some ones that like didn't make the cut on your list?
All right. So I didn't put any DComs on mine. I'd say most DComs from the late 90s, early 2000s, you know, Don't Look Under the Bed. No, was that one of them? It's Under Wraps, for sure, one of them.
That's so yeah. I
think Don't Look Under the Bed was the vampire one? Or like, I think
you might be right. Let me.
Yeah, I might be crazy about that one. But like, my mom's dating a vampire, Phantom of the Megaplex, all of the Twitches, like all of those, I think are pure magic and fun. And also, you know, there was a lot like the Rugrats Halloween.
I struggle with that one too, because that one's like so good.
Yeah,
because it's also a crossover with Our Real Monsters.
Yeah, and I'd say outside of that, probably obviously the live action ones of like my favorite sitcoms that would do a Halloween special. But I also, I guess, and I avoided putting any of these in too, because I couldn't really tell what was a Halloween episode or what seemed Halloween specific, because initially I had this in my top 5 and I replaced it with one of them. I forget which one I put in because of it.
Right.
Oh, it was Scary Godmother. Like I forgot. Like I didn't even remember Scary Godmother, and then I was gonna put this in, and then I realized I don't think it counted. Was the Scooby Doo, the Ghoul School episode?
Yeah.
I'm like, was this Halloween specific? Like I couldn't remember, so I just took it out.
Yeah, I struggled with that too. Yeah. Oh man, that's like lives rent free in my brain like all the time. It's truly one of like my favorite like Scooby Doo anythings.
That
like,
and the race, the race one, racing car one that they did with all the other Hanna-Barbera properties.
Yeah, the wacky races. Yeah, that. Oh my god. Yeah, like Scooby Doo Ghoul School, like is just like so good. Like it's such a great you know, like again, it might not be Halloween specific, but like it's still something like I watch like around this time of year. Like I have a couple of things like that. Like I thought about taking, and again, another thing you did a podcast on was Scooby Doo and Zombie Island. Yeah, that was one that was just like, it might be a little too on the nose. But again, I wasn't sure if that was like Halloween specific or just like a spooky Scooby-Doo thing. But again, one of my favorite movies.
Well, I guess out of all the Scooby-Doo movies, the most specific Halloween one would be my favorite of their direct-to-videos, which is The Witch's Ghost.
Oh, yeah.
It takes place in, makes sense. I don't think it's Salem, but it's like a Salem knockoff, and it's New England, and it's Halloween time, and it's like witches and warlocks and all that stuff. That's probably the closest thing to like an actual Halloween out of all those direct-to-videos.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And that's also the debut of the Hex Girls.
That's right. Yeah. Oh man, like I love it when like Scooby-Doo would like casually just go to like real places for their movies. Yeah. Like I was like, oh yeah, we're going to like we're gonna go to like Roswell, New Mexico. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, this makes sense. Like it's.
I always remember the one that they were in Australia, because the Hex Girls were at that one too.
Yeah,
I had a very selective memory.
Yeah. I wondered. No, that would definitely like it made the short list for sure. A joke one I fumbled with a little bit was the entirety of Over the Garden Wall because it's got you know, it's very ominous, it's very creepy. It's not Halloween specifically, but like
seasonal,
kind of. it's seasonal. And I think you're actually the one that told me to watch this show way back when, because I think I just finished watching. Yeah, it was like in the middle of the pandemic last year.
Did you finish watching Gravity Falls or something?
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yep.
Gravity Falls also had a great Halloween episode that I thought about.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
That was a fun one. But yeah, Over the Garden Wall was awesome. Like I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Christopher Lloyd in anything nowadays just makes me so happy.
Yeah,
so like
cherish that man. We don't have him for much longer.
Yeah. Yeah, and one of the last things, then he's gonna be Rick, I guess.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
That lines up.
Yeah, it blends. And the last one that I like really struggled with for like a while, like outside of like it's a great pumpkin Charlie Brown, was the Night Shift from SpongeBob.
Oh my god, absolutely! Yeah. Holy crap!
It's like I was just like, oh man, I'm just like, it's not like it's seasonal, like you said. It's not specifically Halloween, but it's so iconic. Like, like it's so funny. The hash slinging, the bash pinging, the dash ringing, like it hash slinging slasher was so good.
Who was flickering like, the lights? Nosferatu. As everyone watching that for the first time had no idea who the fuck Nosferatu was.
Yeah, and nowadays people are just like, isn't that the spell from Super Smash Brothers? And I'm like, no, it's the guy from SpongeBob. You uncultured swine. No, but yeah, that's like, again, in an era where SpongeBob just like lives like rent free in my brains at all times. That one just like it's so funny. Like I relate so hard to like, I got nervous, so I hung up the phone. Like it's absolutely so funny. But yeah, that's that pretty much wraps things up. Again, it was a pretty small pool to pick from, but we got a lot of variety. There wasn't as much overlap as I thought there would be. Again, I love Halloween. This is one of my favorite times of the year. You know, I love being an adult on Halloween. Just like, you know, it hits different. Like I get to be a little bit more creative with my costumes.
Yeah.
So, and I was gonna say, so me, you know, as I just recently watched, like I said, How to Train Your Dragon for the first time last night as the recording of this podcast. The reason for that is because me and my girlfriend are dressing up as Toothless and the Light Fury.
Oh my god!
We both bought onesies, and the caveat was that my girlfriend wanted to be Toothless, so I was like, all right, that's fine. So let me be the character from the movie that I haven't seen yet, so it's fine. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's an incredible trilogy. This year, so for some reason I do this to myself. So I usually have a beard. I enjoy having a beard. I've shaved, I think, 4 times now, including this year, for my Halloween costume. And this year, I had to shave. I shaved down to a mustache because I was Ted Lasso.
Ah, that's so.
And
good.
I have a fake mustache now to wear at the party I'm going to in 2 days. So
that's a show I'll get to eventually because I keep hearing great things about Ted Lasso.
It won an Emmy for a reason.
Good to know. I'll definitely keep that in mind. I think one of my favorites I've done as an adult is that I dress up as a Double Dare contestant.
Oh, that's cool.
Years ago. Yeah, I had like I got like a helmet and like a really like bad fitting like polyester shirt, and it was that was a lot of fun. It's my favorite part was having to explain to people at the party I was at like what I was, and I'm just like, ugh, you're killing me.
I had to do that a bunch last
week. As a kid,
the only person there at the party was like one of my friends' moms. She was like, "Hey, Ted Lasso," and I was just like, "Thank you, Karen." Everyone else keeps thinking I'm just a gym teacher.
That's a fun one. But Chris, thanks so much for joining me this week, man. This is a lot of fun. You know, again, you were so gracious enough to have me on your show to talk about one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I couldn't have thought of a better person to bring on this week, and I'd love to have you back sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate it. This is obviously right up my alley. But yeah, I have varied interests, so if you ever want to have me back, feel free to hit me up. Thank you to everyone for enjoying the sounds of my voice today. If anyone,
and you recorded 2 podcasts today. You must be suffering.
No, I'm actually surprisingly pretty good. It was both recordings, including this one, very smooth and flowed well. So I'm still feeling pretty good. Probably gonna watch Critical Role now.
There you go.
But yeah, if anyone wants to follow me on the socials, my personal Twitter is pilgrim_NE. And my podcast, The Howling Hour, can be found at the Howling Hour _ on both Twitter and Instagram. I use Instagram really just for posting upload stuff. Twitter, I'm on more frequently.
Yeah, and I'll make sure to plug all that stuff, down below as well. Again, The Howling Hour is a great show. It is one of my it's a great listen. Whenever I'm it's in my rotation of podcasts whenever I'm like doing like chores and like housework and stuff. So definitely recommend checking it out if you like horror movies, as I do. You're doing yourself a disservice by not listening to it.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, anytime, man. And again, if you want to keep up with me, I'm at Koopa NJ across platforms on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. Feel so inclined to check me out in all those places. If you want to follow the show, you can check us out at Koop'd Pod on Twitter. We are available on all of your favorite podcasting platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, which apparently exists. If there is a podcast site that exists, we're probably on it. Shout out to the one guy that's listening to me on the Pocket Cast app. That's my guy, whoever he is. But yeah, so again, have yourselves a healthy and happy Halloween, folks, and we will see you guys next time for our next episode. So take care, folks.